Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who action figure review. In today's Doctor action figure review, I'm taking a look at the retail edition of the 15th Doctor figure. So the way this is going to work, we're going to take a look at the packaging, do the articulation and detail, and compare it to the Vortex edition of the 15th Doctor. So without further ado, let's take a look at the packaging. Packaging wise for the retail edition of the 15th Doctor, so we've got the packaging on a blister card, which is very nostalgic having a Doctor Who figure on a blister card. So we've got the box shape, which is very similar to the 15th Doctor Sonic and the Vortex edition. So we have the style guide motif there of Doctor Who there, the window box, the TARDIS, the pinkish purple hue of the 15th Doctor's motif there. We've got the name of the figure, 15th Doctor character option to scale articulated action figure, the side, and on the back we have a bio on the 15th Doctor there in his Space Babies outfit there, which is all very lovely, and a lovely holographic sticker. With the figure out of the box, let's take a look at the articulation. Articulation wise for the retail 15th Doctor, so the head can do a full 360 degree turn and is ball jointed, so Ncuti can look up and down and side to side. The arms can do a full 360 degree turn and the arms are ball jointed. Bend at the elbow, I kind of wish we could get a little bit more of a sort of 90 degree, but because of the way the jacket is, it does sort of hinder the 90 degree movement of the actual arm. Swivel at the elbow, 360 at the wrists. We have a pivot joint so we can rock sideways, forwards and backwards. And we do have 360 at the waist. The legs can kick out, 360 at the thigh. Bend at the knee, which does rotate because it's on a ball joint. And we do have ankle rockers for the 15th Doctor, so the foot can go forwards and backwards and side to side. The articulation done, let's take a look at the detail. Now, one thing I've noticed with this figure, and I think a few people had this issue with the Vortex edition, it seems like one leg is longer than the other. As you can see there, that the one leg just seems to be ever so slightly longer, so it sort of gives him a weird sort of centre of balance, so you've just got to find the right spot to get him to stand naturally. So if we take a look at the detail, I said in the Vortex review that, you know, character must have used the Masters TCE because this is such an incredible likeness. This might be the best likeness character options have ever done. It just looks like they've shrunk down Ncuti Gatwa. I think it's just tremendous, you know, the little dimples on the cheek with the jawline, the lines on the face, the little detailing of the moustache there, the little stippling detail on the hair. It's just done tremendous there with the fresh trim Ncuti Gatwa's got. Of course, it does have the sort of ugly sort of mould line there, but I guess that can't be helped. And plus, you're not really going to be displaying the figure sideways on, you're going to be having it sort of head on. From a distance, fine. It's only when you bring it up close you really notice sort of that sort of mould line there. But it's not an issue because just look how stunning that likeness is. It's little Ncuti Gatwa, isn't it? It's crazy. If we move down to sort of the torso section, we've got his little jewellery there. I do believe it is missing a bit of detailing with sort of a black jewel, but again that was missing off the Vortex edition. We have the sort of bone structure there, sort of the collarbone and some sort of muscle definition there, because, you know, Ncuti is a hench guy. And then if we move to the costume, because this is based off Space Babies, and I have to say, I'm going to let you into a little secret, I quite like Space Babies, but don't tell anyone. I think that this as a costume for a figure, I think it works a little bit better compared to the Church on Ruby Road one, just because I prefer the colour palette. I think this just seems a bit more visually striking, but we'll see that when we go to the comparison section. So if we move to the leather jacket, so we've got this lightish brown leather jacket, which is given a black wash to really help accentuate the leather detailing, to give it a sort of aged, battered look for the leather jacket there. You can see on the back there sort of that leather detail texture, because this does have sort of a leathery texture to it, which is great. You can sort of see the fabric stitching detail, how the jacket's sort of been tailored together, the seam along the sleeves, and of course we have the little buckle clasp on the sleeves there, and of course we have the belt with all the sort of creasing and the little adjuster clip there, which has been painted, the little buckle, and of course we have the pockets there, and again that black wash really does help accentuate and age the leather and give that nice sort of sense of depth and sort of shadow and texture to it, which I think really sort of, when you catch it in the light, it does look very lifelike. And of course we have the nice lapels there, and the buttons have been painted in this sort of dark brown, which again works really well, and again I've been given this sort of wash over to give it that sort of aged metal detail. If we move down to the sort of sweatshirt little jumper, this has been painted in a sort of light blue. Now I believe in Space Babies that his sort of knitted jumper was grey. You can see on the image there it looks more sort of grey, but I guess because of the way some of the publicity images, it kind of had this sort of bluish tint to them in the light. But yeah, I think the blue, it does work despite being a little bit inaccurate, because I think it should be grey. But we do have the zip, which sadly hasn't been painted on this edition, but it's weird that they have painted the little fastening on the trousers this time. But we've got the sort of line detailing there on, and if we catch it in the light, you can see the knitted texture on the actual jumper, which again, really nice attention to detail. If we move down to the trousers, like I say, you can see sort of this nice detailing on the belt of the trousers, but the trousers themselves, I've been given this nice sort of aqua teal colour, sort of this I guess blue, and then sort of been given this sort of wash over it to really sort of give it that nice sort of texture to it, to sort of capture sort of the corduroy effect of the trousers themselves. Got a nice creasing detail, the seam of the trousers there, and of course we move down to the actual shoes there. You can see the nice little detailing on the trainers, and of course one thing to note, Shooty does have his rings painted there. Again, really great little attention to detail there. So that is the detail for the Space Babies 15th Doctor. On to accessories. So the 15th Doctor comes with his trusty sky remote there, which again been replicated wonderfully in this scale. Great paint apps, very clean, no sort of paint bleed on there with the gold and the silver. It's just done very nicely, and of course on the back you can see make out the little Gallifreyan symbols there. What would have been nice with this figure, just to make it a little bit different from the Vortex edition even more, possibly they could have done a different colour for the sonic screwdriver, which I think would have been neat, maybe like a red one or the yellow, or even the Barbie one, the pink one. That would have been quite cool, but I guess they played it safe with, I guess, the default Sonic look with the sort of TARDIS blue, and of course that slot into his hand like so. But I think it would have been kind of neat just to add a little bit of variation there to do a different colour of the sonic screwdriver. But yeah, still a very nice little addition, because you know a Doctor needs his trusty sky remote. Comparison time. So this is the Vortex edition from Church on Ruby Road, and of course we have the retail version. I guess, you know, Space Babies, but was seen at the end of Church on Ruby Road as well, actually. So likeness wise, nothing is different there in terms of the likeness. It's exactly the same, but the main difference you can see is the costume. You can see the difference in the actual leather jacket, but this sort of Vortex edition has more of a sort of a reddish brown leather jacket, whereas this Space Babies retail version is more of a tan brown there. You can see the difference in the leather jacket there, and of course it's just the actual costume change yourself there. You can see, you know, the sort of difference in there. But one thing what I have noticed is that the sonic screwdrivers are slightly different. So if I just take the sonic screwdriver out of the Vortex edition, I don't know how well this is going to pick up on camera, but if I just grab this, so this of course is the retail version, and if I can get the camera to focus like so, you can see that the Vortex edition, the Sonic actually is a more lighter blue compared to the retail version, which is a more darker blue, which is kind of interesting actually. So yeah, you can see the differences in the actual sonic screwdriver. So what are my overall thoughts on the retail edition of the 15th Doctor figure? Well, I love it. I think that this is a tremendous figure. I think every positive I said in my review of the Vortex edition applies for this figure. I think that the costume of sort of the Space Babies look, I think, is more visually striking, and for me it's probably got to be the definitive 15th Doctor figure for now, just because I think, you know, just look at that, I think that he just stands out a lot more with the lighter brown jacket. You know, he doesn't sort of get sort of washed away with sort of the browny orange and the reds of the Vortex edition, I think. But yeah, it just really pops and stands out. The articulation, such an improvement, though I would like a little bit more from the elbow. just so you get a bit more of a deeper cut within the joint. The likeness stunning to Ncuti Gatwa. I think that it is a really great likeness, and I think that the retail editions are so important to sell. I think that these are more important than the Vortex editions, because the more these sell in retails and they do well, that's a good indication for character to go, we want more of this. And you know, Doctor Who isn't going to be just limited to online and B&M, that there is a wider market for these, and I believe that there are plans for more. So you know, buy these editions of the figures because they are great, and it's showing support, and it's buy these figures and we'll hopefully get a few more monsters, more characters, and I think that's the exciting thing, that this could lead to so many great things, because these are great already, but just imagine what we could get later on down the line. So thank you very much for watching my review of the retail edition of the 15th Doctor. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do like and subscribe for plenty more Doctor Who figure related content coming in the near future, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.